The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in this morning to our Teltonika webinar. We're gonna start in about 2 minutes, and please just let us know if the audio is loud and clear. We're gonna be using the question panel. This is on the right side of your screen, and please let us know any question or comment throughout the webinar. Rolandas, he will be happy to answer all of your questions through the webinar. So please let us know any comment, and we'll be happy to stop and answer your questions. At the end of the webinar, we're gonna have a Q&A to answer all the long questions. And if you have any project coming up or any project that you may need assistance, we also have our engineer, Benjamin Ojeda, who will be happy to help you on your project too. So quick reminder that this webinar will be recorded and sent to your email right after the webinar. As well, we're gonna upload it to our YouTube channel, EPCOM USA. So if you have any information that you want to review, please join our EPCOM channel at YouTube EPCOM USA to review all of our recordings. So I think now it will be a good time to start. So welcome to our Teltonika Network 4G LTE wireless routers and use cases webinar. This morning, Rolandas, he will be our presenters for today's webinar directly from Teltonika Networks. Rolandas, good morning.
Hello, Victor, and hello everyone at the webinar.
Thank you, Rolandas, for joining in this morning. And now we're ready to start. So if you want to go full screen on your presentation, so that way we can see it on full screen, and then after that we can start.
Yeah, let's do it. So I hope everyone hears me clearly. As Victor mentioned, you can ask questions if it's a short question during the webinar. If you have a longer or more questions, you can just write it down, and then after the session we can go through the questions and deep dive into them. So let me stop sharing the video, and I will make it full screen for you. I will start with the presentation, then I will show you some use cases, and I will show you the cloud management as well. So can you please confirm that you see my screen?
Now, if we can go to the display settings, Rolandas, and
Yeah.
swap. Yes, exactly. Now we're seeing it on full screen. Everything looks good. Now we're ready to start.
Okay, let's go. Okay, guys. So Teltonika Networks. I'm representing the networks company from Teltonika portfolio. And as I mentioned earlier, it's more focused on 4G part of our products, wireless and 4G products. However, Teltonika is like a much bigger company. We do not only 4G products, we also do switches, but we also do GPS tracking devices. We manufacture EV charging stations. So we are a manufacturing company, really big one, global, and however, so just to be focused on particular product niche, we're going to talk today about 4G products, which is going to be in the you can see it under Teltonika Networks, which I am representing. Second, okay. So to talk about the global reach, our company, as mentioned, we are global, and we manufacture all of our products in Lithuania, in Europe, so it's a European product. We ship to all of our global offices all around the world. So if you see in USA, we don't have an office there, so this means that we rely on companies like EPCOM, who is working as our distributor, and it's easiest way to buy from companies like EPCOM, and so for everyone would be best way to order our products from them. Eventually, I hope we're gonna have more and more products from our portfolio as well here in USA. I know that there's already, the other company, Syscom, is already doing quite well in Mexico, selling our products. So it's good partnership. I think good potential here in USA. Then talking about a little bit about our company location in Europe. So we have 3 manufacturing plants, manufacturing routers and all our stuff. Our capacity, I think, in 1 month we managed to manufacture like 500,000 devices in 1 month. So we have like big capacity, short lead times, high quality. We have our own sales team, R&D team, technical support. Yeah, and we are considered in industrial space top 2, top 3 manufacturer globally in specifically industrial cellular router space. Talking about products specifically now, so this is more oriented on the USA market, and you can see what applies to all of our products that I'm going to talk about, all of our 4G products, and I will touch about 5G as well. So on the left side, you can see the operators, carriers. So it's fully certified with all of those, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and also US Cellular as well. So if you will put any SIM card in our product, it will work. So we are fully certified. It's not going to be any problems there. Then you can see here RMS. We call it RMS. It's our cloud management, and I will talk about it a little bit later. But it's extremely functional, well polished, and very, very price competitive, almost free. But yeah, then software on our routers, we call it RET OS. It's Linux-based operating software, OpenWRT, which means that you can do customizations, and we provide with the SDK to your engineers or to your clients as well. They can do the customizations of the firmware, and our engineers will help along the way. So talking about the products in these slides, it's we have five products that are fully certified for North America now, and I will exit the slides. After that, I will show you the 5G products, two 5G products that will be certified in USA in Q4. But now it's 4G, and we have 5 main products: RET240, RET360, RET950, RET955, and RETX11. And if we go one by one, so RET240 is the most best-selling product globally, and the bestseller as well in North America and in Latin as well. Simple reason is that it's extremely powerful for how small it is. So it's very compact in size. It has main functionalities, like 2 Ethernet ports, single SIM card slot where you can use any SIM card of any operator, and Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz. That's pretty much it. Of course, it has the very powerful RET OS software, which has all those industrial protocols like Modbus and MQTT. It has also OpenVPN. It has a lot of security protocols. It has a lot of the firewalls and a lot of different things like failover functionalities, from failover from Wi-Fi to WAN, from Wi-Fi to cellular, WAN to cellular, things like that. So it can do a lot for extremely small compact size, and the price is also the key. So the pricing on this one is $199 MSRP price. Comparing to our competitors, everyone is starting around $400 for such similar product, like for example Cradlepoint, Sierra Wireless, Peplink, Digi. They essentially offer the same but much more pricey options. So this is just essentially doing the job for you if you want to be very cost competitive on your end. RET360, essentially all the same what I just told you in the previous slide, but it's a Cat6. If you can see on the top left, Cat6. This one is Cat4, this one is Cat6. So the main difference is the cellular speed. If you need a little bit slightly faster router, so practically it might reach like 60, maybe 80 practical speed, 80 megs. RET240 would be on average like 30, 40, 60 maybe. So yeah, on paper, of course, Cat4 is 150 megs download, and Cat6 is 300 megs download, but of course, practically is not the case. So just if you just need a slightly faster router, then that will be a good option. If you need still competitive prices, one is $260, so slightly more expensive than RET240, but still extremely price competitive. The other one is RET 950. So it's Cat4, similar like RET 240 speed, but main thing is 2 SIM card slots, which allows you to insert 2 different operators. So you can add, AT&T SIM card and Verizon SIM card, for example, and you can have like a seamless failover between 2 operators based on a signal strength, for example. If you have a client who has like many locations around USA, and you don't know if in that location the AT&T signal will be better or Verizon, you just put the 2 different SIM cards and you need to configure the router so that on the signal strength it will, it will use, for example, primary Verizon. But if Verizon signal is not as strong as you need, you can make a threshold. Then it will just jump to AT&T in that location. So this and does not require any router reset, anything. It's just gonna automatically do that, and it will come back to the pre-primary SIM if the signal strength is recovering. So this is the main feature of this. That's why our clients are buying this and using it. Of course, there's more Ethernet ports, as you see, it's 4. So you can connect more different devices to that. That's pretty much main reason. MSRP price is $260 as well. And then RET 955. So as well, you can see it looks similar. So all what I described about 950 applies to this device, but it has additionally more functionalities. So additionally, it has the industrial interfaces like RS-232, RS-485. You can connect legacy equipment to it. Then there is a GPS. You can put it on a vehicle and you can track it where it goes, like a GPS tracker functionality. There's I/O ports as well. 10 of those you can connect to the I/O ports to trigger, some sort of, devices and send signals to them. And USB port, so for external, flash memory if you need. Yeah, this is like additional functionalities. The rest applies what was described for 950. Moving on, the last one on our 4G portfolio is RET X11. So this is a Cat6 router, the same speed like on RET 360 that I mentioned earlier, so slightly faster than the rest. Additionally, it gives the better performance because this router also has a much stronger CPU and more RAM on it. So it will stand a little bit, larger load, more computing power. Essentially, it can connect simultaneously up to 100 Wi-Fi connections. So you can see also Ethernet ports are gigabit speed, also slightly faster than the rest routers. Also dual band Wi-Fi, so 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Dual SIM, of course, and Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is a very unique feature. I will show you the use case with the Bluetooth what you can do, but essentially you can connect. We sell also sensors, Bluetooth sensors that are humidity sensor, temperature sensor, magnetic sensors. So these type of sensors you can connect to via Bluetooth to RET X11 and have like a full IoT solution to monitor whatever, for example, you want to monitor, let's say, like something refrigerated, maybe truck that delivers refrigerated food, and you want to know what's the temperature of those boxes. GPS as well, so applies to the same solution. If you put it on a truck, you will see that it's going. And USB for external flash memory. This is it. So 5 routers. This one is more expensive. It's around $400 MSRP. This one around $300 MSRP. You can see here again the table, just to comparison. So essentially, it's very simple logic. More functionalities, the higher the price. These are all the MSRP prices. You can buy them from Epcom, and you can talk about the discounts with them as well, what they can offer to you. And yeah, but MSRP is still already going to save you a lot of cost if you just compare it to other manufacturers who do the same. So talking about the use cases now, so mainly we see our customers using our products in 4 different areas. So public services, industrial applications, enterprise, and automotive. You can start with public applications. I don't see one main which is missing is actually failover application. So if you take the RET 240, the simple router with one SIM card and 2 Ethernet ports and Wi-Fi, you can just use it as a failover, small device for failover for any type of application that you can see here. It can be actually like, failover for your even office, or failover for remote, some sort of a, let's say, gas station, or whatever different types of applications what you will see here, what I will describe, it can be used for failover for that. But also, it's also very often used as a primary internet connection as well for the applications you can see here. So for example, like vending machines, kiosks, coffee machines, for example, need to be controlled, remotely monitored. And so you could see, what's happening with them. And the RT240 works really well. And essentially, you can use all the remaining routers based on additional functionalities that you would need. So for example, if you would be doing like some maybe like wastewater management, or just waste management trucks, you would need probably a RT955. There might be some legacy equipment involved, or you would look at like as well transportation, for example, which I'm going to talk about later as well. But you would probably need something like the GPS if you want. CCTV cameras, I would say maybe RT955, because you have more Ethernet ports and you can connect more cameras to it. Access parking, smart parking, access gates, I would say it's RT240 is enough. Payment terminals as well, RT240 is enough. So this type of applications, just to ring a bell, have some sort of feeling where we see our routers being used at. So it's mostly something where you are not able to run the cable, and you just need a device there to provide the internet connectivity. Or if you have a cable, then you put the RT240 or the other router to use it for failover. Industrial applications here, dominantly it's RT955 because of the legacy interfaces which I mentioned, like Arista-V2 RS-485, I/O ports. However, RT240 does the job really well. All of our routers are ruggedized, so it has like a high temperature resistance, like, if I would say it in Celsius is -40 and +75 Celsius. So in Fahrenheit is 167 degrees. And, so essentially you can just put it on the sun, and probably it's, it's not going to be a big problem for that device, and it's going to continue to operate at the top level. So you can see some applications, as I mentioned earlier as well, water, wastewater, or for example, like a generator monitoring on a field somewhere. Probably you're not going to be able to run the cable. You're going to put there RT955, connect as well, see the location of that generator as well to monitor that. Metering, so for example, smart metering, maybe solar panel monitoring, the meters from the solar panels, you can read the data from that and send it to your cloud. Gonna need more, maybe if you need more Ethernet ports, you can use the let's say RT950 or RT955. If you don't need that many, you probably use the RT240. Yeah, and whatever connects to SCADA as well to send back to SCADA, you're probably gonna need a router. Enterprise applications is, I would say, the faster routers on our portfolio would be RTX11 primary. It could be like a primary internet connectivity for your small office or remote or remote office, or maybe even failover as well. The router is a bit more powerful, so in a critical situation, it will withstand that load that you need. As I mentioned earlier, can connect a couple of simultaneous, much more simultaneously Wi-Fi connections, up to 100 users, and so this is where we see RT955, sorry, RTX11 mostly in the enterprise, where they need a slightly more powerful router. Automotive, yeah, as well, just to get back to that as well, like CCTV cameras is also very often being used in enterprise. So I would say as well that RTX11 is good because it has as well the gigabit Ethernet ports, and that's, again, you can connect the cameras and it will be able to do the job really well. Automotive sector is mostly, again, those two routers that has a GPS. It's RT955 and RTX11. RTX11 transfers the same functionality, which, for example, on let's say governmental vehicles, or like, let's say, police vehicle, you can put RTX11 there, connect cameras on a police vehicle, connect computer, connect whatever other IoT devices they have, and it will stand as well that load. If you want to go a bit more price competitive, all of our routers really are industrial and powerful computing power. It will do the job if you even put RET240 there, and sometimes RET240 for, let's say, smaller vehicles is really good idea because it doesn't take a lot of space. And if you are really price conscious, you would probably go with that one. However, if you need more functional router, more Ethernet ports, more functionalities on the router, you will use RT955 or RTX11. So just for utility sector, mostly these two. If you want something really simple, like maybe RV, in recreational vehicles, campers, this is a big market. End users, they need a little bit ruggedized router that can withstand the vibrations and the temperature as well, right? Maybe dust resistance, or you're gonna be, even you can throw it, hit it to withstand some sort of a damage, it will still work. The RET240 would also work there in RV because you don't need to have a really all those features for end user. Same with the buses, you can do RET240 there or RET360 if you need like a little bit faster speed for the end users and customers to utilize the Wi-Fi on the bus. Sometimes you can also use RTX11, for example, because it has a USB port and you can connect some media for in entertainment in a car, like run ads or run some videos on a special app where users can watch movies or something. So on a bus, tour buses, RTX11 and or RT955 is really good idea. Yeah, so essentially the use cases, just to give you an idea, this is that much, and then let's look at my cloud management. Can you confirm you see the screen and you see the web page that I'm sharing? Yeah, let's talk about the cloud again. So everything is coming with a one month free when you buy from Epcom. It's like going to be standard product. When you're going to add it to your cloud, you will be able to just anyone can just create account here. If you go to the RMS Teltonika Networks, you will create account. When you receive the product, you can upload it here as added device, and you will write serial number and you read it from the device that you received. Physically, it's there, and you input all the necessary information. You will add the device here. Also, you can also add the device from file. If you're going to receive like IMEI list from Epcom, you will be able to add it in a kind of in a bulk. So if you have like ordered like 50 units, you can add all of those 50 units at once. So it will save you time, and then you will have them all here visible, and you will be able to do for first 30 days just to utilize this for free, and all the units will be active here. So what you can do with that, it's first things is important that you can do a, let's say, firmware update to connect all the devices here, run the firmware updates, make sure all the products are up to date, and you will not have any problems on using any operator sim or some sort of configuration that might be wrong with the old firmware. So it's good due diligence to do that, so you can just utilize when you get the devices, just run the new firmware to make sure it's going to work well. Then you can do, if you are already like used it before and you have, for example, your own configuration that you like to use. So for example, you can have like a one router that you pre-configured for the client, but that client just bought 50 units more and he wants the same configuration. You upload the products here and upload the backup, which means that you upload your custom configuration from the previous router to all of those routers. It needs to be the same model, of course. So if you ordered like 100 of RTX11s and you want to do the same for configuration, so you update this to make sure it's the same firmware and you run the same configuration, and it's you will do it in a few minutes. So it saves you a lot of time. You don't need to go one by one. Again, also it's also possible to do the custom firmware. But as I mentioned, we provided the SDK. So if you have your custom firmware, you can also upload the custom firmware in bulk. You also are able to downgrade the firmware if you want. You can manually find our firmware on our wiki page, which is publicly accessible. Okay, so then other things.
Now we have
Yes?
a quick question, Rolandus. Let me read it to you really quick. It's from Mr. Jaime, and he says, I would like to deploy a cellular router in a place where it's spotty service. Do you have a solution with booster capabilities? Signals are minus 138 dBm at the location.
Mhm. Yes, good question. So usually, I think that EPCOM probably has some antennas. I don't know. I don't want to start promoting like other third-party brands which EPCOM don't probably have in their portfolio. I'm not sure, but usually how our clients are doing, if you have in a rural location, if you don't have a good signal, yes, a booster is a good idea, but we do not provide that. So we are manufacturing only cellular products like routers. We have our own accessories, but it's not a signal booster. So accessories like kind of CISO, MIMO antennas that combines all in one. So if you need signal strength, we would recommend to use like external antenna from a third party that you would like to maybe ask EPCOM if they have it. Or also there are outdoor antennas like well-known brands like, for example, Pointing or Panorama or other antennas. So usually I can just show you quickly how our partners from Europe are doing it. So Cool Wireless, they are actually focusing a lot, all of their production focusing on Teltonika routers, and they have these type of things built. So this is like outdoor antenna, then you can insert any of Teltonika router inside. So if you like, for example, look at RTX 11 and see what they are offering here, you're probably gonna need to use this, for example, antenna, and you'll insert the router inside, put it outside on the pole, and your signal strength will be much better. Much better. Yeah. So this is what we, and also IP67. So these type of solutions we recommend for our clients when they need to do some sort of signal strength improvement.
Thank you,
Yes,
Roland.
but
And Mr. Jaime, we'll be happy to contact you with the information of the antennas that we carry at Appcom, so you can do the integration with Teltonika. So yes, our engineer Benjamin Ojeda will be happy to contact you. Thank you, Mr. Jaime. Now we can continue, Rolandus.
yeah, exactly. And talking about signal strength. So for example, you can monitor the signal strength here remotely. So you have, like, let's say, deployed couple of products here, and you want to look at what's the signal strength on each product. So you can see here signal strength parameter. So there is a lot of different parameters that you can make. So for example, you can select any of these. You can make it visible here on the main screen for you, and you can make sure that you also are able to probably see here in the main window as well. The signal strength is like an important criteria for you. So it's possible to configure it this way. Yeah, so then talking about each of the routers specifically, you can actually access the router, as I mentioned, see the metrics, the stats, the parameters. It's also integrated. You can integrate it with the API. If you have your own platform, you can collect information from this platform and send it to yours. Important feature here is web UI and command line interface access. So you can click on the web UI, generate a link, and you can then access the web UI of the router if it's deployed somewhere, remotely, and you want to do some configurations, or just to make sure that double check that configurations are correct. You access the router, and you will be able to see that, to do that the same as it's the same if you would connect through the Ethernet port to your laptop, and you will do it in your office, but you can do it the same while the device is already deployed on the field, and you can do customizations, and these are the functionalities. All of the functionalities that I described are here. Yeah, for example, like side blocking, just very simple things, but there are some also high functionalities that are really useful. And this link, you can send it to your colleagues. For example, you want to like your engineer to connect as well, just copy the link, send it to him. If he has ID and password, he will be able to connect. Okay. Yeah, so this is mainly it on the cloud side. Then talking about the use cases, let's look at our use case website. So here on our main website, we have more use cases, which is I gave you like on our presentation, I gave you just like an idea where you can use our routers, but here is much more detailed. So I don't want to go through all of them, but if you have, want to wander around and see, maybe you will find a solution that you work on, and maybe you will have some sort of ideas how you can improve it. So here, for example, solar panel monitoring, we have like a full topologies here described, what's, how the old infrastructure works. For example, RG240, to, you connect from the device that you need to collect the information from and send it to your cloud. Yeah, so things like that is very useful, and which I mentioned earlier to you, the water wastewater use case as well here. So you can see they're using the RET Alpha 5, collecting it to the PLC. They utilize the Modbus TCP protocol, and they are connecting the legacy equipment with RS-232. And you can see they're collecting the information from the sensors to the PLC, and the PLC RET Alpha 5 collecting the information from the PLC, sending to your cloud. As well, it can work as a main connectivity source or as the backup as well. For example, you have the Ethernet connection here, like a wired cable internet, but then you need to have a backup to make sure that you still have ability to control and monitor in case the wired connectivity for some reason is lost. And just to look at one more that would be interesting to. Yeah, vending machines is pretty straightforward. But the vending machine just reminded one thing that we have also like accessories. So for example, you would put the RET240 usually here. We have a different solution here. We're adding like a switch that we also have. So for more Ethernet ports, you can connect like different sensors. We have like some sort of infrastructure with using our products. I will show you the switches later, but also talking about the products a little bit. If I would go to RET X11 and talk about the accessories as well to our products. So for example, if you would use the RET X11 in the vending machine monitoring, you are able to buy from us as well. From EPCOM, we provide these things, accessories. So this is, for example, magnetic antenna that can be mounted on the top, of the vending machine. So the connectivity would be as well better. So this you can buy a bundle from us. Also talking about the accessories that are coming together when you buy the products. In the packaging, you get a router, you get a power supply, you get LTE antennas, Wi-Fi antennas, GPS, all the necessary product, accessories to make it work. So essentially, like it's almost a plug and play. You don't need to buy accessories separately. Yeah. As well, I forgot to mention, talking about the pricing, I forgot to mention about the cloud costs. So the cloud cost is actually $2.2 per month. That's pretty easy. So if you need to use the cloud management for one router, so one router will cost you $2.2 per month to be able to monitor it and collect information from that. So if you want to cancel, it's like a license or subscription. If you want to cancel, just you just do the stop monitoring here. Stop monitoring, and then you will save your money, and it's a credit-based system, so you'll be able to buy credits from EPCOM, and you can activate our products on our cloud anytime you want yourself. Also, I promised you I will mention the 5G products. So if you look at our RET X11, you can imagine the same exact router. It's going to be 5G. So let's look at 5G router here, which is really making a lot of noise. Everyone really like our product because it's going to be a very well priced. So now we have this product available in Q4 in USA. It will be fully certified with all the operators, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, in Q4. Now we will only have like samples, uncertified samples, in June available. So if you have a project that you think will take a lot of time to develop, and you will have like deployments only in like Q4 or next year, then you can start maybe buying just samples that are uncertified, and then maybe you can get some sort of exception with the operator to run the tests. So you can do that in June. We will have samples available in June, but it's going to be uncertified yet. But however, the product is very similar to RTX 11, as I mentioned. You can see dual SIM, 5G, SA, and NSA, and it also has a fallback to Cat 20, 4G. So if in the location where you have your router, if there is no 5G, it's going to connect to 4G, so it's going to still work with no problem. And it's much faster. It's Cat 20, it's most fastest 4G connectivity that we have on our portfolio. You can see more here in our 3D model on our website. 5 Ethernet ports, gigabit speed, dual SIM, Wi-Fi dual band is going to be 2.4 and 5, and GPS and USB. No Bluetooth, I think, on this one. So, and the price is going to be $540 MSRP. So the price is extremely competitive. If you again compare with the other industrial grade, enterprise grade, ruggedized products with a strong, powerful software on it, cloud management, they are priced starting from $1,000. This is $540 MSRP price, and with Webcom, of course, we have your own discounts, so it's going to be much more competitive. Yeah, so this is good, but as I mentioned, fully certified in Q4 this year, so that's why we don't have it flashing anywhere yet. These are available in Europe, and I think even in LATAM market as well. In USA, it's only going to be certified in Q4. Outside of USA, these products are already available to buy and use, and they are used really well. So the other one is the gateway, 5G, 4G, fallback to 4G, but it's slightly less expensive and has less functions. So it has no Wi-Fi, has one SIM slot, and has one Ethernet port and micro USB. You can see here. This is it. It's a gateway just to transfer the data. Pricing is going to be, I think, under $500, maybe $450 or something like that. MSRP price. Again, it will be available in Q4 in USA. Already available outside of USA. Oh, okay, yeah, this is it. You can shoot some questions if you have now, and then I also can show you, since we have like 15 minutes still here, I will be able to show you some slides for the switches that we have also.
Thank you, Rolandas. And yes, this is a good moment to send us all of your questions from the products that Rolanda just showed us. So if you have a comment or question about these products, we're going to use the question panel. This is a panel on the right side of your screen. So please let us know any information that you may need, and we'll be happy to answer all of your questions. So Rolanda, we can continue now with the switches while we wait for any question from our attendees.
Sure. Let me, I think now I need to swap. So it switches. Same applies from a standpoint of the, industrial ruggedized casing. All of our switches can stand the high temperature, minus 45, I think, plus 75 Celsius. Same like a router, IP30 rating, dust resistant, vibration resistant. But simply speaking, all of our switches are PoE Some of those are non-PoE, and also we have gigabit port speed and 100 meg ports, and also unmanaged switches. That's it. So I will show you quickly. Then we also, outside the switches, we also have some Ethernet and wireless routers that are non-cellular. Talking about those routers here, if you need something like a switch, but you need some software in it and the ability to connect it to a cloud, then you can use our routers that are non-cellular. So RUT360, for example, 100 megs. It has the RUT-OS system, and you can connect it to the cloud. That's it. Ethernet ports, software, and cloud. RUT-X10, it's the same plus Wi-Fi. So if you need Ethernet ports, software, cloud, and Wi-Fi, it's going to be this. Then the switches. So the switches, again, this one, check. Sorry. Okay, so this is a PoE switch, 100 meg ports, and managed. Really simple, and does the job. Just a second. This is PoE gigabit ports speed, so the same, just gigabit ports. This is non-PoE 100 meg ports, and this one is 8 ports, gigabit speed PoE switch, unmanaged, and SFP ports, 2 of them. And this one is the same, just non-PoE. And you can see all of these routers are DIN rail mountable, so you can have accessories to buy it from us, and you are able to, mount it on a DIN rail, add it into a PLC, or mount it on any other surface. Also, you can see a grounding there and things like that. The other thing, we have a router that we designed specifically for the PLCs in the tight, small locations. This one is a compact design router. They've integrated the DIN rail, so you don't need to buy accessory additionally. You can just put it in. Ethernet ports, gigabit speed. Everything is one on the front. The grounding is in the front, power is in the front, and the DIN rail mounting on the back. So you just put it in, and really convenient device. That's pretty much it. We have just released a few more of these, this type of design routers with the thing on the front, but we're going to be releasing more switches and wireless devices eventually. But as of now, this is what we have, and I would say that most of the clients are really enjoying this one. ESW 200 with 8 ports, gigabit PoE. That's it. Now I think I told you everything, and I don't want to put more information in your heads because it's already too much, I think. So yeah, you can write the questions if you have. After that, you can maybe send it to Victor. He will share it with me anytime. I'm able to, as well, support, help, answer, to make sure that you guys have a solution built, and we can help you to build that solution with our products, and EPCOM as well can help you with additional accessories or antennas that mentioned before, and together we can help you build a strong solution.
Thank you, Rolandas. And yes, we do have 2 questions. One is your port forwarding setup easier as compared to cradle point products?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say if it's easier or not. If you are really familiar with cradle point, then probably, if you use always cradle point, then probably it's going to be easy there for you to use. But we have a wiki page, and you can see here how to configure it and how it works. And also, I think, if there's, need a little bit more information about how to specifically set it up, it's also possible, to reach out to our engineers and EPCOM engineers will be able to also help you to set it up. So I cannot answer, this question straight away, but I would say that it is easy, and if you're going to learn it, it's going to be easy for you. So we're trying to do it everything, as easy as possible, but yeah. But and also what's making it easy that we have a really strong database here in our wiki page, where you can just Google and see how to make it.
Thank you, Rolandas. And one last question from Mr. Solorza. On your input-output routers, how many ports do they support? 90% of my work is SCADA for water and wastewater projects.
How many ports? Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Yes, on your input-output routers, how many ports do they support?
Also, we talk about the POV, input output. Can we clarify the question a little bit?
Yes, if
We
Mr.
talk about
Solorza,
IO routers.
yeah,
IO, okay. IO ports are RT955. So if we talk about that, let's look at it. So IO ports, there's 10 of those on the RT955. You can
he
see it
mentions the
here.
I/O ports for analogs and digital.
Yeah, exactly. This is, you can see it's 10 here. And there is also more one in and one out here on the power if you don't utilize it. Yeah, so here it's this, and also there's on I think RS485, these are as well IOs, but I would use rather this one. So it's 10 here. And it's I think it's configurable as well. Let me check in the wiki page. Input, output, RT955. Yeah, so you can see here, maybe it gives you a little bit more, idea what you can do. I mean, it's really easy to find RT955 input output. Just put it in the Google. I think you're gonna reach this page. And as I mentioned on this on the power socket as well, there is input and output. Here you can see. Yeah, hope it answers the question. But I think, yeah, what you mentioned for the SCADA applications that you mentioned, RT955 should be a really perfect device. It has everything what you need there.
Thank you, Rolanda. Yes, that answers the question. And Mr. Solorza also says thank you. So we don't have any other question at the moment. But if you have a question, this is the moment. We're about to close the webinar in a couple of minutes. So we thank you, Rolandas, for your time this morning. And
Sure.
he is transmitting this webinar from our EPCOM Miami branch. So if you are in the Miami area and you want to meet with Teltonika, today we're going to be with Rolandas at our Miami
Yes,
branch. So
exactly. I'm here, happy to meet.
thank you, Rolandas. And we don't have any other questions, so I think we're just gonna send you the recording of the webinar as we mentioned at the beginning. We're gonna be uploading the recording on our YouTube channel as well. We're gonna be sending the Rolandas information as well as our engineer Benjamin Ojeda to your follow-up email. So if you have a project coming up and you need any other information from Teltonika or any other product from EPCOM, please let us know and we'll be happy to help you. So thank you again, Rolanda, and we hope to see you in a future session for EPCOM.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Everyone, have a great day, and we hope to see you in our future sessions. Keep checking our website, epcom.net, for all our webinar calendar. Thank you so much, and have a good one. Goodbye.